The gymnasium buzzed with the forced excitement of a mandatory assembly. Olivia sat with her best friend Sarah, their eyes rolling in unison at Principal Thompson's long-winded speech about school spirit.
Already dreading the upcoming history test. Mr. Daniels is such a stickler for dates.
Suddenly the doors creaked open, echoing in the sudden silence. All eyes turned to see a lone figure silhouetted in the hallway. Principal Thompson cleared his throat.
This is Ethan Hayes, our newest student.
Ethan stepped into the light, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. He was tall and lean, with dark, intense eyes that seemed to linger on Olivia. A shiver ran down her spine. There was something about him, an aura of wrongness, that made her uneasy.
He's kind of cute in a brooding, mysterious way.
Olivia couldn't shake the feeling of unease that clung to her like cobwebs. She tried to smile politely at Ethan as he passed, but her lips felt stiff. His eyes met hers, and for a fleeting moment she thought she saw a flicker of recognition of something ancient and knowing in their depths. Later that afternoon, Olivia and Sarah found themselves in their usual spot in the library, surrounded by towering shelves of books. The silence was broken only by the soft scratching of Sarah's pen as she finished her English essay. Olivia, however, couldn't focus. Ethan's arrival had unsettled her, and a strange energy seemed to crackle in the air. She felt a presence, a coldness that seeped into her bones. The familiar scent of old paper and leather was tinged with something acrid, like ozone after a lightning strike. A sudden crash shattered the quiet. A heavy book tumbled from a shelf nearby, landing with a thud on the carpeted floor. Sarah jumped, her eyes wide.
What was that?
I don't know, maybe just the wind.
But even as she said it, she knew it was a lie. The air in the library was still, heavy with unspoken secrets. The whispers started then, faint at first, like the rustling of pages. They seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, growing louder, more insistent. Olivia could almost make out words, whispers of fear and despair, swirling around her like ghostly echoes. Driven by a need for answers, Olivia found herself drawn to the school basement after hours. The air hung thick and cold, heavy with the smell of mildew and dust. Cobwebs clung to the bare light bulbs, casting long, distorted shadows that danced on the damp concrete floor. She found Ethan there, amidst the discarded furniture and forgotten trophies. He sat on an upturned crate, his back against the wall, his face hidden in the shadows. He looked up as she approached, his eyes glowing with an unsettling intensity in the dim light.
You feel it too, don't you? The whispers, the cold.
What are you talking about?
This school, it's built on secrets, on pain. There are things here, Olivia. Things people don't want you to know. Ghosts.
The word hung in the air between them, heavy and cold. Olivia stared at Ethan, his words echoing in her mind. Ghosts. Could it be true? The thought sent shivers down her spine, but a part of her, a part that had always felt the undercurrents of strangeness in the familiar halls, knew it was a possibility. She spent the next few days poring over old yearbooks in the library, her brow furrowed in concentration. Sarah watched her with concern.
What are you looking for, Liv? You've been glued to those yearbooks for days.
These students, they all disappeared, vanished without a trace, and they all disappeared after reporting strange occurrences at school.
Liv, this is creepy, even for you.
But Olivia couldn't let it go. She felt a responsibility, a pull towards the mystery, especially with Ethan watching her, his dark eyes filled with a strange knowing. Olivia decided to confront Principal Thompson. His office, typically a sanctuary of order and calm, felt oppressive, the air thick with the scent of stale coffee and nervous sweat. The principal himself seemed different, his usual jovial demeanour replaced with a tightly controlled anxiety.
Principal Thompson, I've been researching some of the school's history, and I came across some troubling information.
Principal Thompson's smile was thin, brittle.
Troubling, Miss Morgan? I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Our school has a long and illustrious history, nothing to be troubled about.
But Olivia wasn't convinced. She pressed on, her voice gaining strength.
But the disappearances, sir. The students who vanished. Their stories about strange happenings, whispers, cold spots. It can't all be coincidence.
The colour drained from Principal Thompson's face, leaving him ashen. He stood abruptly, his voice a strained whisper.
I suggest you leave these matters be, Miss Morgan. It's not safe for anyone.
His reaction confirmed what Olivia already suspected. Principal Thompson knew more than he was letting on. The school held dark secrets, and he was determined to keep them buried. Olivia felt a growing sense of dread. The whispers in the hallways grew louder, more insistent, the shadows seeming to twist and writhe at the edges of her vision. She felt watched, hunted, her every move observed by unseen eyes. One evening, as she walked home alone, the streetlights flickered and died, plunging her into darkness. Panic welled up inside her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. She could hear footsteps behind her, slow and deliberate, gaining on her with every step. She risked a glance over her shoulder. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall and silhouetted against the faint moonlight. Ethan. Relief, swift and unexpected, washed over her.
Ethan, you scared me.
He tilted his head, his eyes studying her with unsettling intensity.
They're getting restless, Olivia. The whispers, the shadows, they feed on fear. And you're getting too close.
Olivia's blood ran cold. Ethan's words confirmed her suspicions. He wasn't just a student. He was connected to the darkness that permeated the school, to the missing students, to the whispers that haunted her waking hours. She remembered the look in his eyes when he arrived, the flicker of recognition. He knew her, or at least he knew her role in this twisted game. And then it struck her like a physical blow. Ethan wasn't a new student. He was a face from the past, a face from those faded yearbook photos, a face that should have been long gone. Another memory surfaced, a whisper from her grandmother, a chilling tale of a student who vanished from the school all those years ago, a student who vowed revenge.
Ethan was not a student. He was a vengeful spirit, trapped within the school walls, feeding on the fear of the living. And he had chosen me to help him unleash his rage.
Olivia rushed back to the library, her heart pounding in her chest. She found the old yearbooks, her fingers trembling as she flipped through the brittle pages. And there he was, Ethan, his image as clear as day, listed as a student from 1953, the year the disappearances began. Olivia knew she had to act, and quickly. Ethan's hold on the school, on the very fabric of the town, was growing stronger. She had to find a way to break the curse, to free the trapped souls and send Ethan back to the shadows where he belonged. She delved deeper into the school's history, uncovering a forgotten tragedy. Ethan, a promising student, had been the victim of a cruel prank gone wrong, his death covered up by the school administration. His anger, his need for revenge, had festered, morphing into a malevolent entity that haunted the halls. Armed with this knowledge, Olivia knew what she had to do. She returned to the school at night, the building eerily silent, the darkness pressing in on her like a physical weight. She made her way to the old janitor's closet, the site of Ethan's demise, a place where whispers swirled like a malevolent vortex.
I have to do this. I have to set things right.
She lit a candle, its small flame a beacon of defiance against the encroaching darkness. She spoke aloud, her voice echoing in the silent room, reciting the details of Ethan's tragedy, acknowledging his pain, his anger, but most importantly, his humanity. As she spoke, The air crackled with energy. The whispers grew louder, angrier, but beneath the rage, Olivia detected a note of sorrow, of longing. She continued speaking, her voice unwavering, offering forgiveness, peace, and finally, release. The air grew still. The candle flame flickered one last time, casting dancing shadows on the dusty walls before finally extinguishing itself, plunging the room into darkness. The whispers faded, replaced by an echoing silence. Olivia took a deep breath, the weight that had been pressing down on her for weeks lifting. Ethan was gone. The next morning, the school felt different, lighter somehow. The air was no longer thick with dread, the shadows no longer held menace. The students and teachers went about their day, oblivious to the battle that had raged within the school walls. But Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that something remained, a lingering unease, a coldness that clung to certain corners, a whisper that brushed against the back of her neck when the wind was just right. The darkness wasn't entirely gone. It had seeped into the very foundation of the school, a permanent stain on its history.
I can feel it. The darkness, it lingers.
Olivia continued her days, her life returning to a semblance of normalcy. But she never forgot the events of that week, the terror, the despair, the chilling realization that some wounds, some evils, can never be fully erased. They linger, hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to rise again.